my screen now?
Yep.
Okay.
You see
We
the,
are live.
okay. All right. So welcome to the advanced version of Teams. So today we're going to go over some added points that you can do within Teams. So I'll just do a quick overview of what you covered in the beginning. So I know that they covered the activity stream itself, where your messages will pop in to these areas. You'd see bold that people are sending you. You also know about your chat, where you can have various chats. Here's where BJ was sending me the link because I lost my first one. The ghost took it away. And and within the chat, if you tend to invite a person into a chat, like I'm going to invite William, and I click down here, I then get this option where you can call them or video chat with them, and you can even share your screens with just those individuals. I can add more people within this as well. I believe they covered all of this. Am I correct in that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I tend to use this more often when talking, doing one-to-ones as well, because the signal in my house is better with Wi-Fi having these conversations, and because you can share your screens with people. Especially for our job, it's much easier when we can share and have conversations with each other as it's going along. Whoever's got their microphone on for right now, can you guys mute them unless you have if you have a question, you can pop it on the side, and we can kind of refer to your questions along the way. I'm gonna also keep that up too, so I'll know that you guys are asking questions. Okay, so here is your screen. So you have, again, you have the abilities to chat, you have the abilities to share. So that's why I use that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Teams. And I know that they showed you how to create a team, but we're going to show you more of what you can do with the team. So I'm going to click on a new, we're going to create a new team. Yeah, okay. Down on the bottom, we're going to hit join and create a team. And I will say, and I know that Peter is supposed to be looking into this, when you look at old trainings of this, not old trainings, but trainings like in LinkedIn and such that we have connections to now, there is one other box that's missing from this, which is a classroom Teams. So there is the ability to add a classroom in here, which when we get to the assignment piece of it, I'll just give you a quick run through of the assignment that we can't use right now because we don't have classroom. I think it's a check of a box. So he's supposed to be looking in to see if we can get that turned on. So for the most part, and this is, you guys learned that this is a public team. That's why it's showing up here. You have two choices of teams: the created regular team here, and one that has a code. So if you want to be more keeping it more locked down, you can have a code to it if you want. I'm just going to do the create a team for now in this one. I'm going to call it advanced test. Again, you can write descriptions so that people know what the team is. And then you also have the choices, you know, of private or public. I'm going to keep this one private. If it was public, I know Sandy, you had created one that would go out to anybody can actually join it if you had it as a public. For the private, it's only those people that we invite to that. So I'm going, and it's all going to, and all the people, the only people that we are allowed to bring into our teams are people who are part of the Goodwin community. So that's faculty, staff, students, anybody with a Goodwin email address have the abilities to get in. Anybody outside, they can get in, I believe, but they have to be a member of Teams, and then you'd have to know their email address in order for them to get in. That was my understanding of it. So I'm going to hit next. And it creates a team. So now as you know, I'm going to then bring team members in here. So I'll bring BJ in. I'm going to bring Sandy in. And I'm going to bring Bruce in. So we can all partake in the team. So these are the ones I'm going to add for now. And the great thing is, if I want to add some later or take them out later, I can do so. So I'm not stuck to just the people that I have in here right now. So I'm going to hit add. It shows me who they are. I also have a choice within this that I can choose them to be owners or members. If I want them to be able to do more, I can choose them as owner. I'll keep Bruce and Sandy as members. I'll change BJ to be an owner with me. Okay, and then I'll close. So now I have a new team that I had called Advanced Test. Here it is. And down here, yes, I'm part of a lot of teams here already. So under Advanced Team, it comes up with they call them channels. The channel is called General. Okay, so there's a General one. BJ's already typed in hello. I can reply to this one. We're just chatting right now. And I can just enter that. I can also add GIFs or attachments, or I can video myself. We can meet right now by clicking this little tool down here. I can stream video. I can send praises to him. I have these different praises. They look like badges, don't they? He's such an overachiever. To BJ. There we go. Send. Okay, so I just sent him an achiever badge to BJ. So kudos to you. So in your team message, you can add those things, and then he can add little icons. If you see they pop up, he gave me a heart. There it is. He popped the heart in there. So you can give little emojis back and forth to each other as well. So far, so good? Okay.
So far, so good.
All right. So, so here's the cool thing. So that's just, setting it up. So now the other thing, so I'm still in the general file right now. The other thing I can do is I can add files, and I believe that they showed you a little bit about this. But what I'm going to do, so I'm going to, and it's hopefully going to pop up. Here we go. Now it will link to your storage. You can actually get your cloud storage linked in here as well. But I'm going to go to a new file, or actually I'm going to upload a file. Let's see. What did we find? I want to find, I should just create one, right, BJ? It was better that I created it. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to do it as an
Excel. Fine.
Yeah, I think it's easier this way. All right, I'm going to call it shared Excel and create. So I want to talk right now as we're sharing this file. What's the difference between Collaborate and what's the difference between Teams? So Collaborate allows you to share as well. But the thing that Collaborate does not do is share the files in real time. So I'm going to type in, into an Excel spreadsheet, and because he's a member now of this, I'm going to put his name in one, and I'm going to put my name in one. And Sandy, if you're in Teams, you can partake. If you're not in them, that's okay too. I'm just writing each one of your names. And so what's going to happen is he's over there. I'm going to ask that you put your birthday month in here. I'm adding mine. He just added his. If Sandy, you were in it, you could add yours. And so anybody that's part of that team can work on these spreadsheets live right there, right at the same time, real time. In Collaborate, in the Blackboard Collaborate, you could share the file, but you would have to download the file so you have it on your thing, you put your corrections, and then you'd have to upload it again. So it's not real time, where we can edit these things right at the same time and save this. And so this is all being saved. It's like SharePoint, where you're saving the files live. I think it's even better than SharePoint, because SharePoint has a lag time in my experience. So, oh, there she goes. Perfect, Sandy. So yeah, so you can just, and you can see in here that I can see other people who are in that and see who's editing right now. So that's the difference between the two. It's like I said, it's live. And you can be doing any of the things. You could do this with any of the files. I'm going to close this one. Oh, he's editing something. E6. So here's the file right here, the shared Excel. So I have a choice. If I hit new, I have Word, I have Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, forms from Excel. So if you do certain forms, you can have that in there. So I'll use it, for instance, Sandy, for you, I know we were just working on a spreadsheet for portfolios. This is where the portfolio, it could be in a MSOL can have their repository or teams in this and share that within this group, because then you could do it right live, and it's on the same link. It's sort of like saving it to a shared drive or Dropbox or something, but it's all within that, just that one team. Any questions on that?
Yeah, this is a great feature. It's actually my favorite feature of Teams besides the instant messaging component, because any Microsoft Office software can be used to work in real time. So if you're like writing a paper, or if you're writing some sort of communication and you're working with someone, you guys can have this Microsoft Word document open and work together on it. You can store any file in here, by the way. It doesn't have to just be Microsoft Office
Right.
documents. But the Microsoft Office ones allow you to work in real time, since Microsoft also owns Teams.
Exactly.
So they integrated it.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, so you can sync these up. Another part that you have within this thing, within the files, is you have the abilities to add other programs to these other tabs. Here are some of the other Microsoft products that they have. There's also PDF files, wikis, Trello board, smart sheets. I know a lot of businesses use smart sheets in organization. So that's cool. SharePoint, like I said, is part of this as well. There are other tabs as well. There's some of these, crazy ones that you can, I don't really know some of these. I have not played around with them, but there are other options in here if you want to play around with different types of free software that have been linked to Teams that people can use. It seems like it's growing. There wasn't this many. It seems like every day this seems like a little more gets added to this. So, and I think you can even search for more channels within this, or tabs that you can add to this. So that's under general. That's so you can post messages within this. You can, and this is beyond, this is not the chat, but you can do chats within your team itself. You can do files, sharing them real time. You can add other types of tabs that you can use depending upon what your team is going to be working on. So you have those options in there. This might be good for MSOL using for teams that are working on a project together, and so they could do like I said, the smart sheet or planner of who's doing what, and it's a good way for not only them to track, but the instructor to track as well of what's going on.
The one thing I think you want to show is the copy link button. So if you select a file, you can copy a link. So this is the team. This is like the actual folder but you can send links to the actual file.
Right.
And download it too.
Right. So if I check it and I hit the copy link, then it's linking to that particular file. Right. Mm-hmm. And it will then, you can get connected to it right away. So again, it's only the people within the team that can get in there though. So just keep that in mind, whoever the member of the team is. So, any questions on files and the team itself? Okay, so the other thing that's really, really cool within the team, so anytime you also see dots, this means there's more to offer within these things. So this is, I'm still on the file right now. Again, you have the copy link here. Microsoft, any of the Microsoft products always gives you 2 to 3 different ways to do the same thing. And so you see it up here, but then you see it here. And sometimes there's also a keyboard click as well, typically on some of these things. Make this as a tab if you wanted to, download, delete, pin to the top if you want to keep this thing always available, because it's an important spreadsheet that you're going to be using on a regular basis. You can rename it, you can move it, copy it, and I don't know what checkout is. I'm not sure. So you have those options within the document itself. Down over where our actual team is, we call it advanced test, is another dot. So I'm going to click on that. This is where you can, remember I said to you guys, you can always add members as well. So down here, so you can manage the team itself. So if I click this, I can add more members this way. So I see some of my team, but I see also the members of the teams. I see the owners. And if I click on this, I see my members. So I can add more within this. Sometimes you can get requests of people coming in. I haven't gotten any requests because I didn't also open this. We're going to talk about channels in a minute. Right now, the only channel that I have is general. Here's my settings of this. There is, oh my gosh, I got to remember what website we used. Hold on, I think it's under Chrome for you guys. Nope, it's not. Because I want to show you something really quick. I'm not going to find it. Oh, it's on my other computer. So BJ had found a website that kind of gives you the criteria, and we'll make sure that we send that to you guys as well, of how many people can go into a team. I believe it's 250 attendees in a team, and I think you can be a member. Oh, there it is. Look at that. He's already sent me it within the team. He's so quick. Did you put it in this actual team? I'm gonna go to.
I'll put it in there right now. I sent it to you personally, but I'll put it in the team.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys are members of this team. We'll leave it up for a minute so you can have it. So here's a link to the Microsoft Teams specifications, and it tells you. Yeah. So here you go. So subject to 250 object limits that you can bring in. Users in the members, you can have 1,000. Number of members within the team, 5,000. Number of owners per team. So I had made BJ an owner, so I could have 100 owners within one team. Why would you want to have that? I'm not sure. I mean, if you had big organizations and you wanted to be a part of these things, I guess. So this is a very cool website that he had found, and it gives a lot of information about the different parts of teams and what their limitations are, storage limitations, all that stuff. It gives you that. Again, it all also depends upon what we have been licensed for too, but gives us that area. Okay, so then, all right, so the other part within this, let me go back to we were looking at our little dot. We were in manage teams. So it gives us, so that was settings that we were in, and apps. So whatever apps that we decide that we want to keep or not keep. This one here has some, I guess it's some analytics, but I don't know what the analytics, little dashboard. So right now I have 4 users, I have 6 apps, SharePoint files, 1.46 megabytes, because I add 1 file in there. So it kind of keeps you up to date of what kind of things, how much stuff you have in there within that particular team. So that's kind of cool. There's also channels. So that was manage team that we were just in, and it's a little cog to the side. This is very UDL, by the way, because it has the little icons besides the text to it. So for different types of learners. So here's it. So channel. I'm going to add a channel. I'm going to call this work group 1. Okay, and I could put a description to this. I can make it standard, accessible from everyone, or I can make this private. So I'm going to make it private. I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to ban BJ because he just gets involved in too many things. So I'm going to add Sandy to this. And so I'm adding her in there. So she's now part of, and I'm going to make her a co-owner of this particular channel. Okay, so even though you're a member of the team itself, I'm making you an owner with me on this particular channel. So what happens is, this is a lockdown. Okay, so I believe that BJ, if you click on it, you cannot get in it. Am I correct?
I am navigating there now to find out. So I can't even see it on my side, which means because you made it so I can't go in there, I can't even see it. So correct.
Yep. So I can't even get myself. I'm not even in it. I can't click on it. It's not letting me in. Why am I not? Oh, I am in it already. Sorry. All right. So Sandy, if you had clicked on this thing, you would see that I'm in this group. So I'm not in general anymore. See how I see general here? I'm clicking on the work group 1. I'm in the work group. So what does this mean? It means you can have separate groups where that may be parts of our team. So in my team, I have different people are responsible for different things. So BJ is responsible for task stream. He's responsible for gradebook, and he's responsible for asynchronous training. Although he does other things, those are his main jobs. And so those things, I could have him in his own shell, and with anybody that works with him on that, they could be a part of that team. So I can see that what he's working on, or I can collaborate with him. So if I threw a file in this one, so we're going to give it a minute. So let's say I add a Word document. It's going to open up Word, which is very cool. And so now I'm going to so if we're gonna do a presentation together, this is something that we could I can type something, you could type something in this as well, because now you're a member of this particular channel. This is called a channel that you can add to something to this as well. How are we doing with everybody?
Fine on my end, Bruce.
Okay. I feel like I lost is Sandy in there?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. I just feel like I got lost for a minute there.
No, I sent you a note in our small group.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Oh, here it is. I was like, where did my group go? There we are. Because I went into the limitations and I lost my group. So, all right. So, so let's see. So she went to a post. Yes, here we go. Thank you for allowing me to join your team. I promise not to get greedy. Very nice, Sandy. Okay. So, yeah, so this is really a cool thing, because you can break people down into groups and do group work within that particular team. And here's the very cool thing. Teams has been integrated into Blackboard. What does that mean? So it means that you can click and create a team in there, and they can get access to it within Blackboard and be part of those teams within there. Now, it doesn't link to the grading or anything like that, but what it does is gets them into the team rather than having to click outside of Blackboard. So it's just another one of those things that brought a third party inside of the Blackboard arena. So so if this is something that you're thinking that you want to add to a class and let them do planning or such, anything that you have, group projects. Like I have a group project in my 525 class where they have to collaborate for 2 weeks in creating a storyboard or skit or video or whatever. Maybe this is a venue for them to share that information. If they create a PowerPoint or a script or whatever that they're doing, they can do it right in Teams if they wanted to. So it's just another option for them. Any questions so far? Are we getting ideas?
This is great,
Tough crowd
Lisa.
tonight.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
So, we're going to have, is this something that we should be adding to our courses ahead of time? Or can we add it once we start the class? Is it part of the course copy deal? Like, where is it?
So you can do it anytime you want. So it's tools. It's under tools that you guys have. So at any time you decide that you want to add this element to it, you can put it you can make it active on the panel, or you can put it, it'll be on the panel. And so you can hit the tools. Let me see, hang on. Let me bring up a course for a second. Oops, I apologize. Nope, wrong one. I'm sorry, you're gonna have this on your video that I can't click the right thing, so hold tight. Goodwin. Go to Blackboard. And hold on 1 second. Should have had already been logged in, but it's all right. Okay. So if I click on my course, I'm going to go to my sandbox course. Over here to the side, see this, it says tools. I can click on tools and it's located right here. So I can have that link that way. Or I can come over here where there's a plus bar up here and I say tool link and I'll say Teams. I'll come down here and I would find Microsoft Teams, which is right here. I'll make it available to users. I hit submit and it brings that team. I see I've already done it once before. It brings that team in there. So, and what it does is bring up the Teams itself, and then they would have, once they're in, it's going to ask them to sign in, but they're signing the first time. It's going to ask them to sign in. They have to sign in with their username, password that they use to sign in. It's their email address.
Correct. Their Sonus information, whatever they use to sign in for their email, for Blackboard, etc., they use to sign in here.
Yep. So, but we can play around with that too. I mean, I would test the waters first. Anything that you do in a course, I would always make it a test first and have it as a play time before you do it as an assignment, because you want to make sure that everybody's able to engage in it and get into it first and get the bugs out before you actually make the assignment. So the first week should be more of a play and figure out how to get in, make sure they can leave a message, those kinds of things, and that keep them in the general area, and then set up teams and such for them. So okay, so that's bringing in files, sharing files, adding channels to this. Again, back to that dot area. You can leave a team. You can, again, add more members. Here's another link to the actual team that you can send to people. Delete the team if you're done with it, you don't want it, or you can hide it. So there's just all these different options in there. Mostly you'll do manage team and add channel and add members in here, but you do have the other choices. So Classroom. And again, I can't really show you too much of this one because the assignment piece of it, because we don't have the classroom box option for Teams, but we are working on that one. So it tells you right here, because we're not a teacher, because we don't have a classroom piece of it, we can't do that. So this is coming. Just know, and we'll have another training once this is all set up. But that's what the assignment piece is for. Calendar, however, is very cool because you can set up meetings in here. This is what I do with my team. So we meet in Teams every Monday. And so I set up new meeting, whatever the meeting is. And you can tell who's going to come. Oops, I don't even know who this person is. They're going to get invited and go, what? So, and we can pick a time. You can repeat sessions. Like, so mine is a weekly. So I just have it as a weekly setup. So it's always there for them to click on. You can add channels of or teams that you already have within them. So let's say it's a meeting maybe with the particular person within that. Let's see, where is that team? Right here. Right now I only see this channel. I don't see the other channel in there. So I can add the general channel in there. If there was a location, you could put a location, but we're virtual, so that's where the location is. You can leave a message of what the meeting is for, and then you can send this information, and we'll send a link to join this particular session. And what happens is, I'm going to send this, but I'll delete it after. It puts it right on your calendar. So this will pop up on your calendar because it's linked to Microsoft Office 365. So because we're part of the Teams is part of the whole for our calendar and everything, it's going to link to it. So you'll have that meeting within there as well. Is there a question? Oh, Ellen came in. Hi, Ellen. Yes, we are recording, Ellen. Just for you.
Thank you.
For you. So yeah, we're showing the calendar. So yeah, you can set up a meeting, or you can meet now. You can set up meetings if all of a sudden you say, oh, I really want to share something with you. We're gonna meet now, and we're gonna link to that. You can click that as well. So you have that option. This is like in spinning craziness. It's again the time of day. So that's a calendar. The last piece is one of the last pieces is a call. So I have people already on my list. I've added people in here, but I can add more for speed dial purposes. Yes, Sandy, you have to be on my speed dial. So you can put them up there. You can have groups within there too that you want. You can pin the groups so they're available, so you can do group calls and such. So these are people that you may talk to more often, and so you want them linked to that. Again, I really like using Teams for my group because a lot of times we're talking about something that we want to share visually, and so this gives us both options to do so versus us just talking on our system 3CX. That does have the abilities to do video, but it's not, I haven't really had, it doesn't connect for everybody. So I just like the Teams better, and I like that because you can also do the real-time editing and all that stuff. So it's just very cool. The other things in this, here's so you have a contact list looking this way. You can see your call history. See, I use this a lot. As you can see, I'm talking to people all the time. Some missed calls, outgoing. You can see how much time that you spent with that conversation with people. Yeah, Kathy, we talked 51 minutes one day. John, 26 minutes. So yeah, so you can see Eli was talking for 19 minutes. So you can see how long you have conversations with people as well. You can leave messages. I don't typically use messages in here, but so it's just another option for calls. This is kind of a cool one to use for calling students because that was a big concern for faculty calling students on their own phone or texting. They didn't want to do that, where this is a great place you could do that in. You can use Teams to actually connect with your students. Because again, you can share your screen if there was something that the student set was saying they had an issue with, or something, they were having problems with something that you could walk them through. This does not dial their cell phone though. This dials their account, their email. I believe that's how it's linked. Am I right, BJ?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, it dials directly to their account in Teams, and their account is their Microsoft account, which is created by IT and managed by Sonus. So
Yeah.
their Sonus account is technically what they're calling.
Right. So if you decide that you want to use this to connect to your students, you have to tell your students they have to load Teams on their smartphones or something. Otherwise, it's not gonna work for them. It's not gonna all of a sudden ring on them because they don't have the device in there. So they have to make sure that it's connected. So, and I believe when you do the students read email. No, you're going to have to communicate that to them, Bruce, in the courses themselves, or have a conversation with them ahead of time to say, look, we're going to use Teams as a way to communicate with each other. So I need you to load Teams on it so then I can call you. Then it's not an email verse. It links into the Teams piece itself. So it's this little icon pops up on their cell phone. I have a little Teams one on my phone as well. So it's an app that they can get. So it's not an email, it's a Teams app. So, but
Correct. They can get it from the Play Store on Google or the App Store on iPhone.
Yeah. Yes, it's a good alternative. Absolutely. Now, I do believe that when you choose do
Lisa?
not disturb. Yes.
I'm wicked sorry. I have an emergency. I have to get off the. Can I see the rest of the recording?
Yes, we'll send you the recording.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry, everybody.
No, that's fine. Bye. So I think when you hit do not disturb, it will not call them. It will. I don't think they see it, do they? That somebody tried calling them?
Correct.
Yeah.
If Do Not Disturb is on, the person will not receive any notifications at all unless they open up Teams and look at it, they won't see it.
Right.
Whereas busy, they'll get all their notifications, but the person that's trying to contact them will see that they're busy and should expect to maybe not get a response because the person's not available.
Right.
But Do Not Disturb is silent mode.
Right. So that's the only one I believe that's silent mode. The rest of them will at least give them some notification that somebody's trying to contact them. So so that, again, another thing that you'd want to say to them, don't put it in do not disturb unless you're like going, you're offline for whatever reason. So because they'll stick it on do not disturb and then you'll never be able to get a hold of them. So again, these are things that in anything that you do with your students, especially online, you have to be very detailed of what it is that you're wanting them to do if they're going to share that. And those are just options to use with your students, but you also have to communicate. We're using this more to communicate with our teams and our faculty and our staff, and but I'm just letting you know that this is integrated in Blackboard, so you do have the abilities to put this in your course as well. So just wanted to give you that thought process. These are different files that were brought in or that are shared. These are ones that I have brought in for myself. You can connect to your OneDrive. I know that they're still questioning the use of the OneDrive or your Dropbox, even though that they do connect to them, just because they're not sure how much space there is if you bring a lot of stuff in here. That was something I believe that Peter was investigating how much cloud storage that each person has, because I'm not sure what our licensure is, what the agreement is. So we'll have to get back to you on that one, but I'm sure it's enough. I mean, and if you've got it on your OneDrive, you don't really have to have all of it unless you're sharing it with other people. So, anything else that I'm missing, Mr. BJ?
Well, I think you covered everything. You showed the calendar, you showed the file collaboration, you even brought up Teams for students, which is something as an institution we haven't really pushed yet, but I think
Yep.
it's such a good feature
Yep.
to look into.
And so the
I think you
question,
got
Bruce,
it.
thank you. Bruce, you asked a question, is there a price tag on this thing and for students? And the answer is no, because it is part of Office, the 365. And so they get it as long as they are a student, they are in. So they have all access to any of the Microsoft 365 products as long as they continue to be a student with Goodwin. So any other questions? All right, well, that's pretty much it. I mean, we did videotape this, we recorded it, so yeah, it is a good deal. So we will send you the link to the recording once it is completed. And if you have any questions, you can always feel free to contact BJ or myself or Peter. I guess I tend to know, BJ and I know a little more about the advanced piece of it, but don't be afraid to play. That's how I learned, is just clicking a lot of things, and by using it for our teams and trying to figure out things that work better for us. I love that whole shared file piece of it. It works really, really well. So it has some great potential, and the whole having different channels that you can break out into other groups and whatever the particular group is working on, so you're only doing with that parts. Is very, very cool. So I hope you learned a lot today, and have a great night. See you later.
Thanks for coming, everybody. You take care.